and across the nation. To talk with Bill Needle. In Cleveland, call 578-1220. Toll free in Ohio, call 1-800-683-1220. Now, let's talk sports with Bill Needle.
8:07, hour number 2 of Needle at Night. We talk sports here on AM 1220, WKNR, 7 to 10, Monday through Friday. Tonight, we go till 10, except the last 90 minutes of Needle at Night will consist of Trivia Trade-Off. And if you're familiar with Trivia Trade-Off, you will enjoy it. If you're not familiar with it, you'll probably enjoy it anyway. So make sure you tune in. We're giving away tickets to the Lumberjacks games tonight if you can stump the Chumps. And just so you can study ahead of time and learn your categories that we will give you to choose from in Trivia Trade-Off, we're going to go with Opening Day with the Indians, the Final Four, and Deja Vu all over again, which are things that we've talked about here on Needle at Night, as well as things that Ron Barr had on Sports Byline when he had his trivia show several days ago. But that's not till 8:30, because right now we're going to go to the telephones and talk. And the numbers are 578-1220, or you can call us toll-free from anywhere in Ohio at 1-800-683-1220 to East Cleveland to say, hello, Pete.
Hey, how you doing, Bill?
All right.
I'm just up here enjoying this Cavs game, watching it. You know, I heard one of your previous callers, he was commenting on the rough play, and I talked to you a few days ago after the Knicks incident about, the rough play and how the teams are gearing up toward playoff time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I really wanted to know how that caller felt about, the Indians fight the other day in a preseason game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of hypocritical that people jumped on the line and talked about the Knicks have to be stopped and all this, and the baseball team in this city is having fights in preseason games that mean nothing.
But you don't, but you the only gap in your statement, Pete, is that we don't know if people were for it or against it.
Right.
That's the thing. Now, people...
I didn't really hear anybody commenting on it, and that guy just made the comment and kind of ticked me off, because I was like, well, I wonder how he felt about that Indians fight.
Yeah, that violence is a part of sports, man.
It just happens. I mean, you don't really want to see it. It just happens.
I take that word back. It's intimidation is a part of sports. Violence doesn't have to be, but intimidation, you have to.
Throwing at a guy is intimidation.
Right.
You give up 2 home runs, you kind of expect that.
If you're going to go down to paint and expect to get smacked, that's intimidation.
And I wanted to comment on Wayne Embry's comments he put in the paper. I kind of sat on him, and I thought about him, and I was like, well, he's sticking up for his team, and that's good. But he made a comment that, comment on how the Knicks played in their playoff series last year. And maybe I'm mistaken, but one of his own players started a fight in a playoff game at home, and the people stand up and applaud it. But, he didn't mention anything about that.
Let me give you a little spin on this, Pete, and I may be wrong, but here's how I look at that. I think Wayne Embry is merely playing in this discussion that you're talking about how tough, how dirty the Knicks play. Wayne is simply playing the part of a good soldier. All he's doing is contributing to the case of the other 27 teams against the Knicks, and that's what I think he's doing.
I understand that, but I think sometimes he forgets that there's people that don't just concentrate on one team and realize that there's a lot of other things that go on. So he makes a comment like they're the only team that ever had fights, and his player that he traded for, Danny Ferry, started a fight punching that Jordan.
Yeah, but you have to see that if you're going to play a psychological warfare, you don't talk about that. You don't.
I know.
All right, you don't talk about that. If you're playing psychological warfare and you are trying to get people prejudiced against the Knicks, which is exactly what the whole league is trying to do, I'd be willing to bet every game, and I don't see every newspaper, but every time a team plays the Knicks, I would bet that somebody makes a statement about how outrageous and how horrible it is the way they play, because they're all ganging up against the Knicks.
Well, it's not just him. I heard George Karl make statements in other teams.
Right.
It's just I'm not a Wayne liker, and it's things he says that I just have to comment on.
You are allowed. You are allowed. This is America.
Okay.
Take care of yourself.
All right.
All righty.
From the KNR 2020 ticker, inside the 10-minute mark of the second quarter, and things are slowly but surely getting away from the Cavs already. The Knicks are up by 10, 28-18, as they continue to play in the second quarter at Madison Square Garden. By the way, Knicks guard Greg Anthony has been cleared to return to the active lineup tomorrow night. Anthony had been suspended for at least 5 games for his part in a brawl with the Phoenix Suns last week. And we're talking about brawling with the Knicks. Why not throw that in? After 1, New Jersey leading Miami 28-26. Also after 1, Sacramento 30, Washington 27. In the NHL, Pittsburgh now up 3-0 on Hartford. They're still in the first period. Peter Taglianetti and Rick Tocchet have added goals to Mario Lemieux's first tally. Kings and Philadelphia now tied at 1 in the first. Luke Robitaille scoring his 57th of the night, of the year, for the Kings. Mark Recchi had scored his 50th of the year earlier for the Flyers. Quebec and Ottawa still scoreless in the first. Vancouver now leading Tampa Bay 2-0 in the first. Indians were 8-7 spring training losers today to the Florida Marlins and Cocoa. Those two teams will play again tomorrow. We'll have it for you live as usual here on KNR, 12:58 p.m. with the airtime. Boxing, Rock Newman's wallet a bit lighter today on account of a ruling by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The manager for Riddick Bowe was disciplined for assaulting an AP photographer following Bowe's heavyweight title fight against Evander Holyfield last November. Newman was ordered to pay $35,000 and issue a public apology. The KNR 2020 tickers updated at 10:30 and 50 minutes past the hour. I'm Kevin Connors, WKNR Sport.
Bill Needle. All sports, all the time. WKNR.
14 minutes after 8. Told you about Tolo and Tapie tomorrow morning. They're trying to find Campy Russell. But let me tell you about the Greg Brinda Show starring Michael Regai. Michael Regai talks to Timothy Hagan, Cuyahoga County Commissioner, about Gateway and about the project itself. Tim Hagan was one of the leaders on the Gateway project, and he stuck his neck out on the project, and he's going to talk about it. Plus, Cavaliers head to Charlotte tomorrow, as if it's like not enough that they're in New York being, shall we say, dealt with by the Knicks, but now they got to go down to the Hive on Hive Drive in Charlotte to take a Hornets team that needs to win to stay in the playoff hunt. Not a pleasant Thursday and Friday for your Cleveland Cavaliers. So talk about all that with Michael Regai on the Brinda Show tomorrow here on AM 1220 WKNR. Back to the phones we go. Missy, good evening. How are you?
Hi, how are you tonight?
Thank you. Fine.
I'm just calling. I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about the Cleveland's tragedy with the baseball team. I guess as a non baseball fan, I have a little different opinion than a lot of other people in the city here.
To which you are entitled. Go ahead.
Well, I guess my feeling is that people are giving these guys a lot of special treatment, and it's pretty obvious that these guys are no better than the drinking and driving people out on the street.
Well, now wait. Now one of them was, but one of the men who died had maybe like half a beer. I think it's like 0.0000002.
No, it's
yeah. Okay, well, whatever it was, but
yeah.
that's the driver was legally drunk. The boat operator was legally drunk.
It's
now,
pretty unfortunate, and I guess my point also is that with the alcohol in the boat, there was intention to drink, and
I don't know.
I have a hard time with that, and a lot of folks are sort of defending them, and I just wonder what would have happened if they had hit someone else on the lake.
Well, let's look at it this way. Missy, how about we look at it this way?
Sure.
Let's look at how we react to other people who die in alcohol-related accidents. I think that is a more relevant comparison when you think about it. If you read the paper and you see, Jane Doe of 1234 Main Street ran her Camaro into a tree last night. Her blood alcohol level was 0.14. Jane Doe leaves 4 children under the age of 4. Is your reaction to Jane Doe's alcohol-related death, geez, that leaves 4 kids without a mother? Or is your reaction, well, she's drinking and driving? I mean, I think that's where you got to look into yourself. And the people that I don't think everybody is reacting the same way in this issue. I think that there are those who react and say that leaves 6 little kids without a daddy. I think there are those who react and say don't go on a boat when the driver is drunk.
Right.
There are a lot of different ways to look at the situation. Each person's is individual. I choose to think of it that, hey, there's been a lot of times in my life where I was probably 0.14 or more, and I thank my higher power that I'm here to talk to you on the radio about it.
Well, no doubt, and I guess my problem also is that, Jane Doe, should she kill someone else, I guess I'd feel a little more angry with her for having killed someone else as I would perhaps if these sports heroes, as they've become, had killed, maybe a couple of dads and their sons out on the lake, drinking and driving. And I think it's just as irresponsible, and I think it's probably going to it's just sad, you know, and I guess I feel like they should have thought about their wives and children before they got in a boat with someone who was drinking and driving, or got in a boat with the intention of drinking and driving at night, you know.
I have no argument with that.
Yeah,
I have no argument with
it's
that.
unfortunate that these people, these women and these children are left, and definitely my heart goes out to them. But
I think there's an area, if I may, I think there's an area that you may want to consider as well, and that is we have talked up to this point about the specific act and the accident itself. I think you also, in your comments, have inferred a little bit about the reaction to the death. You have referred to the media overkill, if you will, to the talking about it. Why don't we talk about Jane Doe? We're talking about these guys. Don't forget that, number one, we are by nature a society of voyeurs, if you will, and that we feed on other people's tragedies. Number two, you have to remember that these are people who everybody knew because of their position as baseball players. And there was many more people in our community were touched by their deaths because they were Cleveland Indians than it would be if our fictitious Jane Doe were to end up on page 3A of the newspaper having the same thing happen to her. And you have to understand that the role of the media in this, in the fact that the individuals were also very, very well known by a lot of people, had a lot to do with it. All right?
Well, I guess I feel like, you know, more than a week on the front page of the Plain Dealer was excessive.
Well,
And I think, especially as someone who is not a sports fan, I would prefer maybe just one day on the front page and then the rest of the week on the sports section, which is where they belong.
If you want me to agree with you that the media has a tendency to beat things into the ground, I agree with you 100%.
And I guess my other problem is that they just sort of didn't talk about the alcohol issue at first, which says to me that basically folks just don't want to believe that they were drinking and driving.
No, they didn't.
Being irresponsible people, which is really what the truth is. Like anybody who drinks and drives.
Well,
in a car, in a boat.
I still think that you are being pretty rigid about this. There are a lot of people. It doesn't make them bad people. It makes them dead people, but it doesn't make them bad people.
Well, it sure makes them irresponsible people. It makes them irresponsible fathers and husbands too. I think folks need to understand that here, and they need to realize that everybody holds that responsibility when they get in a car or a boat or a plane and they're drinking.
Understood.
They need to own up to that responsibility, and I think these guys obviously will never get a chance to do that.
Well, perhaps others will because of the unfortunate circumstances.
Let's hope so.
Thank you for your call.
Bye-bye.
3-1 pitch to bench.
Drilled. A line shot that Brooks Robinson dived and grabbed in his glove for the third out to retire the side. What a play.
Sports Radio 1220 WKNR.
The Genuine Article is now on sale during Chrysler's National Minivan Sale. Visit the minivan store at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer for remarkable savings on America's premier minivans. Plymouth Voyager, Grand Voyager, and Chrysler Town & Country are now available with thousands in total savings. Up to $2,600 on Plymouth Voyager with air, automatic, and more. Up to $2,600 on the even more spacious Grand Voyager. Both available with integrated child safety seats. Save up to $1,600 on the luxurious Chrysler Town & Country. Each comes equipped with a standard driver's minivan airbag and is fully effective when used with a seatbelt. Save on quad seating, anti-lock brakes, and integrated child safety seats. Total savings are based on a combination of $500 cash back, rebates on select options, and package savings based on the sticker price of options if sold separately. Your opportunity to own the Genuine Article has never been better. Chrysler's National Minivan Sale, courtesy of your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, only at the minivan store.
There's only one chance left for you to be part of the biggest opening day crowd in the history of Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Next year, baseball moves to Gateway. 4 days from now, attend the Indians season opener and take part in history.
Sports Channel takes you to the ballpark for 45 live Cleveland Indians games in 1993. See history in the making as the Tribe ends its 61-year stay in Cleveland Stadium. Be a part of the excitement as the Indians battle the best of the American League, including rivals Detroit, New York, and the World Series champion Toronto Blue Jays. Sports Channel's coverage begins this month with 2 preseason games and continues through the 93 season. And as the boys of summer start heating up the base paths, Cavs action stays red hot on Sports Channel. Catch Mark Price, Larry Nance, and the rest of the Cavs as they wind down the regular season and get set to meet the Eastern Conference's elite and selected playoff action. Join Denny Schreiner and Jim Jones as they call all the high-flying jams and three-point bombs from the sidelines. For the best in regional sports action, tune to Sports Channel, where our season never ends.
Watch Sports Channel on Cablevision. To order cable service, call Cablevision at 663-3700.
Sports Radio 1220 WKNR. Bill Needle.
23 minutes after 8 o'clock, 8:23 on Needle at Night. Monday. Opening day against the New York Yanks, and KNR broadcasts live opening day pregame, postgame parties from the Nautica Entertainment Complex in the Powerhouse. That's Monday. You can hear from KNR air hosts in attendance, including Tolo and Tapie, plus me, plus members of the Indians. Monday, April 5th, from Nautica Entertainment Complex, the pregame and postgame opening day parties. Do it today. Don't miss it. Let's go back to the telephones real quick. Cornell in Cleveland. Hello, Cornell.
Yeah, how you doing, Bill?
All right.
I got a question for you about Larry Bird.
All right.
Well, I was watching TNT, and they say he's coming back for the playoffs.
Nah, I'd be very surprised. He had back surgery. He had back surgery like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they cut him to shreds. And
they said he was coming back for the playoffs. The New Jersey Nets were the first to object to it because, you know...
he already had his uniform retired. I guess he won't be able to wear number 33. Cornell,
Magic Johnson had his uniform retired, and he came back for a minute this year.
You're right. You got me in the April Fools. You're right.
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
It was on TNT.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it. I think this man probably been healed then, because he just had his back shaved. His back has been cut up. He has had discs removed. I'll be surprised if Larry Bird is even walking.
I don't know if it's April Fool's, but I was listening to the game, and I just happened to flip to TNT.
Nah, I don't.
They said he was supposed to come back for the playoffs. They said the New Jersey Nets were the first to object, but they're not the only ones who went to the NBA to object to this.
Sound like an April Fool's to me, Cornell, and I wouldn't. Okay, well,
suppose it's not a joke. How do you feel about that, though?
Well, I mean, how do I feel about donkeys flying? I don't think it's true. He had back surgery a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but what if it was true?
If it was true, he can come out of retirement, and if he can play having back surgery in the early part of March, that's one hell of a man, Cornell. Have yourself a good evening.
All right.
All righty. 578-1220. Let's go back to Cleveland and say, hey, Mike, what's up?
Okay, one brief brief statement about the Cavaliers. You mentioned the thing about Wayne Embry. The New York Knicks have their style. That's the way they do things.
Mm-hmm.
And if all these other teams come in there bitching and crying about the Knicks are cheap shot artists, they do this, they do that, everybody else is concentrating on what the Knicks do, and they're not concentrating on what they're supposed to do.
You're right.
And so, I mean, if Wayne Embry is playing the good soldier routine, he's just creating this mass hysteria around that he's playing right into the Knicks' hand.
I think the difference is that they would rather have a general manager who's not going to play the games do the talking rather than the players, and that I don't think the players can allow themselves to be concerned with the Knicks' style of play.
But unfortunately, they are.
Well, if they are, then that's their own weakness. If they are going to allow themselves to be taken away from the job at hand, which is to execute their offense and defense, and worry about whether they're going to get hit when they drive the lane, then they deserve to get hit when they drive the lane. But my point about Wayne Embry is that's the job of a general manager. The general manager is like the lobbyist. He's like the politician. He's the guy that makes the official statements on behalf of the organization when they're trying to muster up these political offenses against a team like the Knicks.
Okay, question about the Indians. It was mentioned tonight on one of the TV stations, and I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but I do, that Carlos Baerga is the leader on this team.
Well, it could be Baerga, could be Alomar.
Well, because Sandy's been hurt so much and he's been out of action.
It was Baerga who spoke to the press after Olin and Cruz died.
Right. The thing is, with this being such a young, close-knit team, and young guys can somewhat get intimidated and scared, do you think, is Carlos the type of guy that will get vocal and get mad if need be?
From what I understand, and Alan Davis is a friend, and is a close friend, and I am told by, this is secondhand knowledge that it came to me from Alan Davis. Yes, he is mature. I think you can take a look at Carlos's willingness to get involved in a community and really commit himself to some causes. That means that he's going to be vocal enough to say it. Another thing to keep in mind, Mike, and I got to go real quick, is that it's not as though these young guys are going to be divided because there's a group of older players who have been through it. The fact is that they're all young and they're all in it together, and sometimes all of them being in it together will make them able to endure these sorts of difficulties. All right?
Okay.
All right, take care of yourself. All right, coming up on 8:30. Study your categories. We got Lumberjacks tickets. Dr. Science just walked in the door. The associate professor is eating yams, and we'll be back right after this.
Okay, kids, are we all ready to go?
Yeah! My hair.
I'm a smoker, but my kids are in the car, so I got to put the brakes on smoking. And with the amount of time this trip's going to take, it's a good thing I've got plenty of Wrigley Spearmint gum. That cool, clean taste? It's the perfect travel companion.
Are we there yet, Mom? How much longer?
When I can't smoke, I enjoy pure chewing satisfaction. That's what Wrigley Spearmint's all about.
Your old phone or answering machine is worth more at your AT&T Phone Center. Trade in the old. Save on the new. Trade-in savings time at your AT&T Phone Center. Just bring in your old phone or answering machine and save $10 on selected new AT&T phones and answering systems, even if they're already on sale, which means you can save twice. Details in store. For what's new, what's now, and what's next. Hurry. Offer ends April 10th.
This is Jack Buck, CBS Radio Sports. You're listening to Sports Radio, AM 1220, WKNR, Cleveland.
Here's the latest WKNR color radar weather. We'll have a mixture of rain and snow tonight with a low of 33. Winds out of the northwest of 10 to 15. Some light snow in the forecast for tomorrow. A high of 33, winds out of the northwest at 15 to 20. But opening day Monday still looking good. Mostly sunny, temperatures near 50. With the WKNR color radar weather, this is TV5's Don Webster.
Opening Day 1993, the last opening day at Cleveland Municipal Stadium. It's a special year for the Cleveland Indians. And to help them celebrate the start of this season, Sports Radio 1220 has gathered the biggest names in baseball to talk about the tribe's past, present, and future. This Sunday from noon till 6, join us for a very special opening day program, because
we're talking baseball, talking tribe.
On Sports Radio 1220 WKNR.
From the KNR 2020 ticker, they've just gone to halftime at Madison Square Garden in New York, and the Cavaliers are trailing the New York Knicks 45-32. Elsewhere around the NBA, Charlotte leading Orlando 20-14. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Shaq, of course, not playing tonight. He's serving out his one-game suspension. Also at halftime, New Jersey leading Miami 59-43. 4:35 to go second quarter. Sacramento leading Washington 44-35. Just underway, Milwaukee at Houston. In the NHL, after one, Pittsburgh 4-1 on Hartford. L.A. Kings, meanwhile, leading Philadelphia 2-1 after one. Quebec and Ottawa are scoreless. They're after one. Also after one, Vancouver leading Tampa Bay 2-0. Detroit at Chicago just underway. A couple of NFL teams added veteran wide receivers today. The Bills signing free agent Billy Brooks. The Dolphins trading future draft picks to New England for Irving Fryer. Brooks reportedly signing a 3-year contract worth $3.5 million. The KNR 2020 tickers updated at 10, 30, and 50 minutes past the hour and is brought to you by Canex America, your total office solution for a worry-free lifetime guarantee on parts, labor, and quality. I'm Kevin Connors, WKNR Sports.
The AM 1220 Sports Talk telephone lines are open. In Cleveland, dial 578-1220. Toll free from anywhere in Ohio, dial 1-800-683-1220. Now, once again, Bill Needle.
28 minutes until 9 o'clock, 8:32, hour number 2 of Needle at Night. I want to remind you, tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, Professor... Oh, this is a pleasant thought. Jeff Sindelar evens out his suntan. Probably got one of those little Speedo suits. And he talks minor league baseball live from Winter Haven. Sindelar talks with Clevelanders Bill Wirtz and Chip Winarski, Brian Graham of the Canton-Akron Indians, and Greg Booker from the Kinston Indians. It's the Professor. Can I have another bottle of suntan lotion, please? Live from spring training here on AM 1220, WKNR. 578-1220 are the phone numbers. Toll. Oh, no! My hair is getting good. My teeth are getting straight and white. Yes, I'm feeling real.
It's time for Trivia Trade-Off. Your venture into the world of sports trivia, minutia, absurdia, and amnesia with your host, Skip Sterling. Your chance to win a nice item from the depths of the WKNR prize vault. To play in Cleveland, phone 578-1220. Toll free in Ohio, 800-683-1220. And now, here's your host, Skip Sterling.
Thank you very much, Jim Taylor. Thank you, Trivia Trade-Off Orchestra, and welcome to Trivia Trade-Off, the April Fool's edition. We'll still give you the right answers. No, sirree, we won't play April Fools with any of the questions. Tonight, you mooches got a chance to win tickets to the Lumberjack games. Bunch of guys from Canada beating each other up, skating around, and scoring goals, eh? You'll enjoy it. Lumberjacks hockey, a very popular part of the sports scene here in the Cleveland and northeastern Ohio area. Once again, the same phone numbers for Trivia Trade-Off as there are for Sports Radio 1220 WKNR, 578-1220, or you can call us up toll-free from anywhere in the Buckeye State at 1-800-683-1220. The same gang of idiots here to fill out the panel, as usual. Yes, they are. The Associate Professor. Hey, Associate Professor, glad you could make it.
Idiots? Who are you calling an idiot?
Well,
Hey, what? Wait a minute. Check the categories real quick.
What? Idiots? No, idiots is not a category.
The categories, what are they?
I'll get to that. I was just introducing you. Let me run the show.
Okay.
And as the slowly developing, Miss Vicki, he is slowly developing a real following throughout northeastern Ohio and the eastern part of the United States. We like to call him Dr. Science. Good evening, Dr. Science.
Hello, Bill.
Oh, God, this is the dynamic Tommy Newsom. This guy is a distant cousin of Tommy Newsom from the old Tonight Show. Don't knock me over with your effervescence, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, here's how you play Trivia Trade-Off. We throw out a question to you. Can be from the following categories. The Final Four. Hey, it's because the Final Four is this weekend. Can be from opening day with the Indians because, hey, opening day is Monday. And deja vu all over again, which are questions that come from what you've heard on AM 1220 WKNR this week.
I had a deja vu before I got here.
Yeah,
Extra sauce.
I was going to say, with onions. All right, so that's how you play it. If you get the first question right, you earn the right to take the next step on the road to trivia immortality, which is you get to pick. And you get to pick from the categories that we have already told you about. And then, should you get the first and second questions correct, you then move on. Yes, move on into the select circle, the Valhalla of Trivia Trade-Off, as it were, the chance to stump the chumps. And in the event you can stump the chumps, that means you ask us a question, you win tickets to the Lumberjacks game. How many of them, Jeff Levine's silent partner? I can't hear you, you're the silent partner. How many tickets? How many tickets do you win to the Lumberjacks game? You win a pair of tickets. You could have held up 2 fingers, but since you just like to do Marcel Marceau. All righty, so you win 2 tickets to the Lumberjacks game. courtesy of AM 1220 WKNR and the Lumberjacks, all right? Should be great. Hey, the price is right. All right, let's get started with Casey in Cleveland Heights. Hey, Casey, how you doing?
Great. How are you, Bill?
You ready to play Trivia Trade-Off?
Sure am.
Do you have your thinking cap on?
It's always on.
All right. Well, Dr. Science, who is probably from your neighborhood, has a question for you.
All right.
All right. I want to know the name of the starting right fielder for the Cleveland Indians in both 1984 and 1985 on opening day.
Opening day with the Indians, 1984 and 1985. And I'll tell you something. Dr. Science has got a hint for
George
you.
Orta.
Oh, you should have waited.
You should have waited. You would have.
Well,
okay.
let me wait then. I'm sorry.
All right. Since we're early, and you're the first one, and I think, Casey, that this is your first venture into Trivia Trade-Off.
You're right.
Dr. Science will give you a hint.
His first and last name begin with the same letter, and he is probably still a right-handed batter.
And
he could play third base too.
And Bizet wrote an opera.
Well.
And Bizet wrote an opera about him. Not about him, about someone with his name.
Oh boy.
Guy from Cleveland Heights ought to know this cultural stuff.
Yeah, this opera stuff, man. How's your macrame work going, man?
Cultural stuff.
I know. Watch it. We got a button here for that.
Well, you did stump me.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Carmen.
You're out of here.
All right. That's okay. Slip of the tongue. We'll be right back after I get shot.
Pitch to him from Palmer, and here's a ball hit very deep to right field. Going back for it is Frank Robinson. He's at the wall. He can't get it. It's gone for a home run. Bobby Clemente continues to totally annihilate Baltimore pitching.
Sports Radio 1220 WKNR.
Just bought a Canon plain paper fax, I see.
Yep.
Then you know that Canon is the #1 selling plain paper fax.
I sure do.
And that Canon is a leader in the latest plain paper fax technology.
Yes.
And that Canon offers a full line of plain paper faxes.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's obvious then why this man chose a Canon plain paper fax.
They took off $1,000.
Oh, well, that too. Get up to $1,000 off when you trade in your old fax for a selected Canon plain paper fax. For details, visit your nearest participating Canon authorized dealer or call 1-800-OK-Canon. Offer good through June 30th. Limitations apply.
Thank you for watching Cleveland Live Music. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. There's further patronage information in the video descriptions below. Thanks for all the support and making the channel grow.